So I'm going to talk to you about meditation and what you should do to meditate. Primarily what you should do when you're meditating is not focus on anything at all. In other words, you want to focus on an empty mind. Now, quite often thoughts come up. Sometimes they're really good thoughts and they want to grab your attention, so you go and act on the thoughts that you get during meditation. What you're supposed to do is let the thoughts go. I know they sound like the wonderful thoughts when you're meditating and that's why you got them. No. The point of meditation is to empty your mind. And then when you have an empty mind, to relax and enjoy the empty mind. That's it. That's it. And when you do that, you are disconnecting all of your ideas that you have, or the ones that come to you, and you're not putting any energy into them, and so they're not going to manifest. And you say, well, they were good. Yes, but there's better ideas coming, and they might not even come to you with your quiet mind. But by quieting your mind, you're allowing these other things beyond the ideas that normally come to people to manifest. And these are the really big changes that we're looking to have on the planet to bring it to the fifth dimension. Nobody really knows everything about the fifth dimension, but people that are not here on the planet know what needs to happen. So these would be things like ascended masters and angels. So when we meditate quietly, we are allowing ourselves to sit back and wait for something to manifest better than we can normally get with our idea faculties. That is the whole idea of deep samadhi meditation, which is, some people say, well, you know, got to go through different kinds of meditation till you get to the deep samadhi meditation, like what the Buddha did under the Buddha tree, the Bodhi tree. Yes, that's what you have to do. You have to work on your meditation. But remember, the goal is to get the empty mind, so you're simply being with quiet mind, being with it. How do you get there from here? Well, you got to start somewhere. A lot of people take little rests, little cat naps. Is that meditation? Sometimes it is, if you're still awake. If you're still awake and you're taking a cat nap, but you're not falling to sleep, that is a form of meditation. So a lot of people that don't think they meditate are doing meditation when they are, closing their eyes and just resting, without doing any mental gymnastics, trying to do math in their head or thinking about what to do tomorrow. So if you're a cat napper and you know that sometimes you're awake, but you're just quiet, perfect. That is exactly what you need to do what the Buddha did. And the more of us that do these little things, the faster these great manifestations are going to come to us. How much longer? Well, if you listen to the YouTube commentators like Chiron, for example, there are plenty of other ones, you will find that they have been talking for a very long time about the fifth dimension. And they give you long updates. And are they true? All the information is, yes, we are expecting the Great Awakening, and it's not a political awakening for Donald Trump. It is a spiritual awakening, and it is spiritual progress, great leaps of enlightenment. And is it just for the people that meditate? Well, you got to figure it out. Everybody takes cat naps. So yes, it's for everyone. It's coming, and you can rest assured that taking your cat naps and doing your focused meditations, taking special time out to meditate every day, is helping get this stuff done. So good on you. Keep it up. And thanks for watching. Please subscribe and share and click on the little bell if you're on YouTube to get notifications. Now, if you have aches and pains, the best thing to do with aches and pains is to get yourself into a hot tub and try and let the heat help your aches and pains. That is a really good way to make your pains go away. And if you're interested in even more kinds of submersible things, go to a float tank that's full of salt water and float, because then you can relieve the stress on your back by floating. If you've been to a float tank, I highly recommend it. And the salt water is very good for everything. If you're considering getting some more worldly advice about how to deal with feelings, aches, and pains, why don't you go someplace new? In other words, if where you've been going hasn't been helping you, try a new thing. Like what? Well, I don't know. What have you tried so far? In other words, keep looking for answers to problems that you have. And don't keep repeating the same old thing. In other words, if you've been going to see someone and it's not working, it's not going to work. So try something new. Okay, something else that you need to know how to do is when you have weird feelings, you need to know what to do with them. So primarily, they're just uncomfortable feelings. I had a feeling today, it was an envious thought. It was me seeing people surfing on the beach, and I'm thinking to myself, gee, I sure would like to be surfing on the beach, or on the ocean by the beach. And so it's an envious thought because I can't do it right now. And it was uncomfortable. And what you do with these feelings is you let the feelings be, and you stay very quiet with it. You be with the feeling. You're not trying to push it away and saying, I don't want that thought. Clearly you don't want it, but you have to process the thought. And to process the thought, it's done automatically when you're quiet. You just have to be with it. Eventually, that whole feeling dissipates, and it did dissipate for me. And there are lots of these subconscious thoughts that will arise with anybody. And if you can get this bit, it will help you enormously. So once again, if you're feeling any uncomfortable feeling or a feeling you think I shouldn't have this feeling, it's not a good feeling, I don't want it. Sometimes I say it's not mine, and it's true, it's not really yours, but it's yours to process. So you just be with it. It's good if you can get away from all of the work and everything else that's, pulling you aside, and just be with it. And it transmutes into nothingness, basically. And then you won't have that bad feeling. How long can these bad feelings last for? With this particular one, 5 minutes, it was gone. Sometimes these ones take a lot longer, and you've got to be with them. And you just got to do it. No one else can do these things for you. Even if these are not necessarily your thoughts, it's your job to be with them. What are some of the things people do with these feelings that don't dissipate them? Ignore them? No, ignoring them is not going to work. In other words, distracting yourself. Somebody says, well, what about, if I just start, pick up a drink or, something? No, that's not going to work. These feelings have got to be transmuted, and they get transmuted through you. So just being with these things is what does it. And I've had some of these that have lasted, let's say, 20 minutes. 20 minutes of uncomfortable, and just be with it. If you have other things that you do, you take like aspirin because you have these kind of feelings. Not so much like aches and pains. It's more like vibrational feelings. So if you got that, that's what I'm meaning. Now, if you have aches and pains, the best thing to do with aches and pains is to get yourself into a hot tub and try and let the heat help your aches and pains. That that is a really good way to make your pains go away. And if you're interested in even more kinds of submersible things, go to a float tank that's full of salt water and float, because then you can relieve the stress on your back by floating. If you've been to a float tank, I highly recommend it. And the salt water is very good for everything.